カカロット。悟空は死んだ。みんなが悲しみをそれぞれの胸にしまい込み。
What a way to begin. Goku has died. Sure, we had seen Goku die before, but the fact this was due to an illness meant he could not be revived by the Dragon Balls. Then we see nearly everyone else die, starting with Piccolo, meaning no more Dragon Balls. Quick shout out to ARC115YT. This video is for you. Cue the title card and prepare yourself for one of the most depressing yet hopeful stories in all of Dragon Ball.
二人の人造人間のためにこの世は恐怖のどん底に陥った。これはもう一つの未来の物語である。絶望への反抗、残された超戦士、ご飯とトランクス。
I'm not going to go too into the origins on this one, as I went into the origins of the TV specials and the movies in my Bardock Story Spotlight video, so please check that one out. Basically, with the Trunks TV special, like the Bardock special, it took seeds from the manga and expanded it into basically a mini movie. I think unlike the TV special for Bardock, the Trunks one has less liberties to take because we learned more about Trunks in the manga than we did Bardock. Bardock, we really learned nothing, so the animation studio created Bardock before Toriyama did. This time, it was in the manga. We know future Trunks, we know who he is, his timeline's bad, Goku died of the heart disease, so therefore all they had to do was kind of show it to us. In that case, you could say the Trunks one is almost canon, is the best way I like to think about it. The film begins 13 years after Goku's death. It's quite a long time if you really think about it. And I think it's important that the story tells us this because what it shows is that unlike Frieza or hell, even maybe you consider Cell, these two androids are literally toying with people for over a decade. That's a long time that there are still people in the world. They haven't killed everybody yet. They're just taking their sweet time, using the world as their essentially amusement park. They could just, use humans as their playthings. We get to a terrifying moment where 17 and 18 are, 17 takes the car and he's driving around trying to crash the car into people. It's really, I think the film does such a good job to show how evil these two are. And of course, compare that to whether it's the manga or the anime when we meet 17 and 18 in the, I guess, sacred timeline. We see that they are quite different. They are definitely more human, I guess you could say, whereas these two in Trunks' future are pure evil, just as he told them when he was warning them that the androids in his time have no mercy at all. And I think the film does an excellent job to show these two as evil as they can be. Nearby, Trunks is traveling with his mother, Trunks being only about 13 at this time, and he hears on the radio something's going down, that the androids are attacking nearby. So he decides to go off and do something about it. I think this is a really good way to establish his character in that this is prior to him having any real training, I guess you could say, but that deep down inside, he wants to do something to help. And I think that says a lot about his character because as we all know, he does eventually, save the day. So it does definitely set him up as the hero of the story really well. So he arrives, but of course it's too late. And there's a couple really good shots here where you just see bodies, people are dead. And, of course it's done a lot in film as well without showing a dead child. Instead, you'll just show like a doll on the ground. And we get the idea that children are dead too. I think it just really shows how evil these two androids are. Gohan shows up, and I think everybody felt the same first time watching this, seeing Gohan as a grown adult in Goku's kind of outfit. But just like when Goku arrives on Namek and he has, for the first time ever, he has his kanji, like his symbol on his gi. This time Gohan's wearing Gohan. It's actually the Japanese character for him. So I just think that's really cute way to introduce Gohan as the world's only surviving hero at this main point in the story. Gohan goes back with Trunks, and when Bulma comes back, she sees that Gohan's there. So we do get the sense that they're not estranged. That Gohan, Trunks, and Bulma, they know each other and that they've been keeping close together. Um, Bulma, of course, says that he can stay and all that stuff, but not to do anything dangerous together, hinting that she doesn't want them training together. Gohan stays for dinner, and it's a really wonderful moment even without Bulma saying anything. So Gohan's eating up and, itadakimasu, and he's eating so fast, and then he asks immediately for seconds. He sounds just like Goku. And Bulma immediately points out, she's like, you're just like your father. And it is one of the sweetest things. Imagine that for the past 13 years, this kid's probably been sad that his father's dead. And, someone he looked up to. And it's just a sweet moment to say that he grew up into his father, basically. So now Gohan begins training Trunks. Of course, major difference here is that Trunks is unable to go Super Saiyan at this point. But, Gohan's at least teaching him the basics of fighting. We do get a brief moment of Chi-Chi and her father. And I do think this is actually quite a lovely scene. Chi-Chi's, of course, points out the usual that, he should have been a scholar by now. But we also get a real somber moment here where she's looking at the photo of Goku and Gohan and her, like all three of them together. Goku's gone. And she knows her son's out there trying to fight to save the day. And she says, I don't care about the androids. Just come home. And it's just such a motherly thing to say that that's all she wants is her son home. It's a really beautiful little small scene. 怒れ！もっと怒るんだ！怒りがスーパーサイヤ人にする！くそ！あいつならひょっとして俺を超える戦士になれる。人造人間に勝てる。So at an amusement park, we see that there are people having fun. I just thought this was really an interesting thing that, yes, of course, the world has to move on, even though the androids are always going to be a threat. But I just never expected to see this. Every time I watch this, I'm always kind of taken back by it. So I understand people have to go to work. They have to get food and survive. But apparently, hey, we could die at any time. Might as well enjoy ourselves. And I do think that kind of is fitting, to be honest. So while they're out having fun, the androids show up and decide they don't want to wait online. They're just going to do whatever they want. I always thought there's something that stood out here. As much as I want to praise this today, I do have to point out there's something really stupid here. The staff working at the amusement park basically says, hey, what are you? You can't cut in line. Who are you? Like the staff is acting like he has no idea who they are. He's like, you can't do that. At this point, you think everyone in the world would know who they were for the past 13 years, and they'd be like, oh my God, it's them. Instead, he's just like, hey, you can't cut in line, get in the back. And it's just a real funny moment. Of course, 18 shoots him and kills him. It's just a really weird moment. But as they're playing and having their fun, they call for, of course, military aid. And it's a really good cutaway scene where they show that the military has been all wiped out already. So there really is no hope in this world. And I'm gonna say this word a lot, and I think anyone who's watched it and knows the word hope should have a lot of meaning to this story. But yeah, they really are driving that point home about hope and the lack of hope at this point in the story. So while they're out having fun, they're making a loud enough commotion that where Trunks and Gohan are training, they can hear the commotion and they see an explosion. So they decide to go, and Trunks says, I'm ready, let's go. So Gohan's like, all right, let's go. Gohan's willing to take Trunks with him. This is important for something I'm about to talk about later, so please remember, Gohan allows Trunks to come with him this time. That's very important. Anyway, they get there, and Gohan decides to go first. This is so important because what we learn is, of course, over the years, you would imagine a Saiyan keeps getting stronger. Gohan can go toe-to-toe with 17. And at one point, it looks like, if honestly, without any interference, Gohan one-on-one can probably take these androids, is what they're showing us. But as soon as 18 realizes Gohan's getting an upper hand, she joins in. Trunks then realizes, hey, 2-on-1's no fair, so Trunks joins in. But Trunks still being unable to go Super Saiyan at this point, he's no match. So he does get a lucky hit on her, which I always thought was really nice, and she gets pissed and hits him, and she does go to kill him, but Gohan jumps in to save the day, which of course results in Gohan getting hit. They have to, at that point, hide. which again, remember, we learn in the original story that these androids cannot sense your presence. They cannot sense your ki. So therefore, they have no idea if Gohan's hiding right there behind the rubble. They can't sense Gohan at all. So they decide to just let out this huge explosion to wipe out the entire area. They assume they're dead, and 18 throws out a real fun line where she's like, well, even if they survived, we'll see them again soon. So not really scared of them at this point. And then they leave. I remember seeing this too for the first time, and you see Gohan, and he's crawling, and you just look carefully, you're like, oh my God, he only has one arm. It's a shocking scene to see. You know, Gohan's, of course, injured, but his arm was taken off by the explosion. He, of course, pulls out the typical Dragon Ball trope of the last Senzu, and he gives the last Senzu to Trunks before passing out. So we cut back, of course, to Capsule Corp, and Gohan is resting. A doctor came to visit, and Bulma tells Trunks, you know, hey, the time machine's coming along nicely. You'll be able to go back and fix everything. Trunks is very dismissive of this time machine, and the real important reason for this, I think we all need to understand, is Trunks has no idea who Goku is. Bulma, one of her closest friends in the entire world, was Goku. She knew him since he was a boy. And Bulma knows whenever there's a pinch, Goku's the guy that will save the day. So for Bulma's point of view, Goku's the one. We need to find Goku. We need to save Goku from dying from the heart disease. Trunks, from his point of view, is, I don't know this guy. To me, this seems like a waste of time. We need to worry about now. So I really love how that works, because we, as fans, especially when I first watched this, I was very young when I first watched this, and I remember thinking, Trunks is stupid. He has to go get Goku. Goku's, the one who can save everything. You get older and you realize Trunks has no idea who this person is, nor should he care who this person is. He just knows what the deal is right now in this world. And now Gohan's pushing him to go Super Saiyan. Gohan, we see he's got the aura. He's getting close. Very similar to when Gohan first goes Super Saiyan, especially in the anime, the non-canon version of Gohan going Super Saiyan. There's a lot of moments where he's close, and he's got the yellow aura, but he just can't get it. And very similar to that, Goku tells him you have to really think about something to make you angry. Gohan says the same thing, and he says that becoming Super Saiyan is anger-based. And he says, I thought about Piccolo and Kuririn being killed. And I just thought that was really important. You could say, well, why didn't you think of his father? His father wasn't killed by an exterior force. His father died of a natural disease. There's nothing they could have done about it. Of course, he's sad that his father died, but he can't be angry at anybody for it. It wouldn't really fuel him. But Kuririn, remember that at least even in Trunks' timeline, this would have been post-Namek, and therefore Gohan and Kuririn would have formed a bond as well. And of course, Piccolo and Gohan had the same bond. So those two dying are what Gohan said fueled him. When he thought about Kuririn and Piccolo being killed, it made him angry, and he became Super Saiyan. Trunks doesn't have anything. He never met his father. So his father dying can't really trigger any emotional anger in him. He has no connection to his father. If his mother would die, of course it would, but at the moment he has nothing. Gohan knows this. This is extremely important for what we're about to talk about. Gohan is speaking to him now, saying how he had to think about someone close to him dying. And then Gohan kind of has the light bulb that will go off in his head.
そうか、わかった。トランクス、行くか。はい。トランクス、君は最後の希望だ。もし君まで死んでしまったら、地球を守る戦士は誰もいなくなってしまう。何年か先、あの人造人間を倒す可能性を持った最後の戦士が。
So the androids, of course, attack as they're training. And Gohan gets a little pissed off, and he's about to leave. Trunks is like, all right, let's go. I'm coming with you. And Gohan this time says no. Why? Why was it okay for Trunks to come before, but Trunks can't come now? There are two reasons. The first obvious reason was Trunks was kind of in the way before. Trunks still cannot go Super Saiyan. Therefore, Gohan is not wrong for wanting Trunks to stay behind, because he would be in the way. He would kind of be a liability. Gohan would be worried about him like last time, which is why Gohan got hit in the back when he was trying to protect Trunks. So that part is part of why he doesn't want Trunks to go along. The second reason is Gohan goes there. All right, some of you might get upset at what I'm about to say. Gohan goes there to die. He knows he's going to die. He goes there so that Trunks can become Super Saiyan. Gohan is missing one arm. He ain't winning. Gohan's not an idiot. He's not going there because he's angry and he's like, I want to get revenge on them. He knows he can't win. And he's going there. He'll do what he can. He's not going to lie down and take it. He's going to fight hard, but he knows he's going there to die. And I really do believe that that's the reason why he goes there. So now that we got that sad thought out, let's continue. So, of course, Trunks is all, let's go, and Gohan knocks him out. Gohan arrives. We see, 17 and 18 toying around with people. Gohan gets a surprise hit on 17. There is another really cool thing here. This time, unlike before, 17 and 18 attack together. Before, 17 and Gohan went one-on-one while 18 ignored them. This time she knows, all right, Gohan was a little bit of a threat last time until I joined in, so right from the get-go, it's 2-on-1. And Gohan must realize at this point, yeah, shit, if they're attacking me both at the same time, there's no way in hell I'm going to win this. He knows that. But guess what? We get a pretty badass action scene, and Gohan does get some really amazing hits in. Despite the fact that it's 2-on-1, Gohan shows that he's still strong, and he's going to do what he can. It's not a long fight, unfortunately, and Gohan is completely taken over, and they just rapid blast him until he's dead. I remember the first time watching that, and remember that in the manga and the anime at this point, Gohan had never died yet. So seeing Gohan die for the first time, and even though it's an alternate future Gohan, it's still like, oh my god, Gohan's dead. This is like sad, Goku's gone, Gohan's gone. This is depressing. And of course, now we're going to get to one of the highlights of this story. Trunks wakes up. It's raining, the thunderstorm came, and Trunks flies over. And how this is animated, how it's shot, how they do like the camera work here with the animation, it's dark. We see Gohan lying in a puddle from far away. Trunks is flying overhead. He goes down. Tears start coming out of his eyes, but he's not upset yet because he's refusing to accept it. He's doing a whole, like, in a low voice, like, Gohan, he's hoping Gohan's going to get up, be hurt, maybe just get up. He gets closer and closer, and I will never forget when the camera, shows that we see close up, Gohan's face is in a puddle, eyes are open. It is one of the most, like, horrifying scenes I've seen in Dragon Ball. Like, it's just straight up, the character's dead. Like, they're just showing us. And how this is shot is really well with, he's standing above lifeless Gohan. He breaks down. He grips his hands so tight that blood comes out and, of course, lets out the mighty roar, which, of course, ignites Super Saiyan. And big explosion, scene ends. It's wonderful. It's probably one of my favorite Super Saiyan transformations, alongside, of course, Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time. Vegeta's is cool, Gohan's is cool, but Trunks there's something really powerful about how this whole scene is done. Bulma has completed the time machine. She says everything's just pretty much ready to go, but Trunks says, no, I can do this. He's like, I've been training, I can go Super Saiyan now, I got this. But she's like, Gohan was strong too, but don't underestimate the androids. Gohan was killed in the end. He's like, I can do this. He's still not on board with this plan. Again, for Trunks right now, he wants revenge. He wants to avenge Gohan's death. He still has no connection with Goku or anything like that. So like for him, this whole plan that his mother has, he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what the big deal is about going back in time to save Goku. On the radio, they say that the androids are attacking again. And of course, Bulma doesn't want him to go, but he puts on the iconic sword and he's like, I'm sorry, Mom, I gotta do this. And he heads out. Now, in this next scene, he arrives, of course, and he starts fighting against 18. He quickly learns he is completely out of their league. This is really well done. Gohan was a seasoned fighter. Gohan had fought against the likes of Nappa and Vegeta, Frieza. Gohan had many battles, the Ginyu Force. Trunks has no experience. He had a few scuffles with the androids, but he really has no fighting experience. Yes, he's been training by himself for the past 3 years, but without a proper master and no real experience, he is not ready for this. So we learn quickly, he starts fighting against 18. Now, they showed us before that a seasoned veteran like Gohan was able to go toe-to-toe with them one-on-one, and even when he fought two of them at the same time, he did fairly well. Trunks, on the other hand, can't do anything against even one of them. He is no match for the androids at this point. So the androids pretty much realize that he's weak, and they just toy with him. So this whole sequence is honestly the androids just having fun. They're just messing with them because they could kill him at any point and they don't care. He's not a threat to them. When we get to the end of this fight, it does get really good. They have Trunks down. He's pretty much beat at this point. And for the first time, we get some dialogue. As in, Trunks says, why are you doing this? And of course, we as the audience have been wondering this as well. Since in the manga, when he first says, the androids in my time are these evil monsters, why? And 17 comes around and says, well, Dr. Ghetto actually created us with the hopes for world domination. He's like, but we don't really care about that. And he's like, then why do you do this? And 18 says just such a wonderful line here where she's like, whenever I see people, I get angry. She's like, I hate humans. I just hate them. And it's just a weird thing. Like, where does that come from? She can't stand the sight of people. She gets angry when she sees people. She hates them so much. And it just really, we don't know why, but they got this innate hatred for humanity. And therefore they just want humanity to suffer. And that's why for the past 16 years now, they haven't completely destroyed all of humanity because they really want them to suffer slowly and painfully. It's really probably if you, I know I did a top 10 of evil villains. They're really bad. I mean, the 16 years of just torturing people is pretty bad. Anyway, Trunks tries his best, and by this point, Trunks is completely burnt out. So he gets up and he's hitting them, and it's just nothing's happening. To me, he's hitting them, and he's got nothing left in him. They shoot him. They legit try to kill Trunks here. So it's honestly a miracle he survives this. Trunks wakes in bed. His mother's attending his wounds. He apologizes and says basically, all right, I'm going to use the time machine. And she's, all right, cool. She's glad that he's on her side now. He says to her, was Goku that strong? Was he really that great? She's like, yeah, of course he was strong, but that's not the reason. That's not the reason she's putting all this hard work into saving Goku. She's like, Goku was the type of person where no matter what happened, no matter how impossible the odds, he always found a way. And that's true about Goku. That's who he was. He always found a way out of every situation. So she truly believes he is the key to saving everything. Trunks smiles and says, man, I'm really looking forward to meeting my father. She's like, well, I wouldn't expect much out of that. So funny little moment there. Outside, he's getting ready to go back in time. She hands him the medicine for Goku and basically tells him good luck. We see the side of the time machine saying hope, which is the central theme here. And he flies away, flashes, we get the narration beginning, and of course cut right into the end credits, which once again, Hironobu Kageyama provided the music. He did for all the movies and TV specials. This song is called Aoi Kaze no Hope, the blue wind of hope. And it's an awesome song, typical, Japanese pop song. But it does all recaps of kind of basically just continuing from here. Trunks goes back in time, he arrives, kills Frieza cold, then has his little sparring match with Goku, and then it actually goes all the way up until when 17 and 18 are being activated, but in the sacred timeline, I guess you keep calling it that. So I quickly wanted to talk about the manga version of this. Unlike the Bardock special, the Trunks special actually is an adaptation of a very short chapter that Toriyama gave us in volume 33 of this story. Unlike the anime, in the manga, it picks up right where Gohan and Trunks are training. Trunks can already go Super Saiyan, so that's a subplot that's completely removed from the manga. Therefore, Gohan going there to die, as I pointed out in the anime version, is not the same. Gohan does not go there to die. Trunks does not need a catalyst. However, Gohan does go there, and another major difference is only 17 really fights Gohan, it seems, and Gohan dies. So the anime definitely wanted to show that Gohan was gradually getting strong enough to take them both on, whereas the manga shows they were so strong that even Gohan couldn't even beat one of them. It was just impossible. After that, of course, we get Trunks going and finding Gohan dead, but because he already goes Super Saiyan, you'll see here, he's just in his normal state screaming in anger. There's really no change here. So that's one thing I think the anime definitely did better. After that, we have, 3 years later, Trunks is ready to go out and fight the androids on his own, but another major difference, we don't see the fight. He goes and leaves, and then he just wakes up in bed, and we know that he failed. It simply ends with him taking the medicine and going into the future. So it follows the major beats.
じゃあこれが心臓病の特効薬。間違いなく孫君に渡してあげてね。あまり無茶しちゃダメよ。
はい。母さんも気をつけてください。
じゃあ頼んだわよ。
行ってきます。こうしてトランクスはタイムマシンに乗り込み、今の時代へとやってきた。そこには新たな戦いが待っていたのである。
So what's this really about? This story is about hope. It's written right on the time machine. Gohan is putting everything into Trunks being the one to save the world one day. Hence why I truly believe Gohan went there to die. He believed that Trunks was the one, not himself. In the dark times, the only thing we have that we can hold on to is hope. Think about your life. Think about the world in general, all the horrible things that happen in the world. People don't give up. That's not what we do. We hold on to hope because there's gotta be a light at the end of this tunnel. There's gotta be. Once we let go of hope, it's when we truly die. And that's why this is another one of those Dragon Ball stories, even if it's not fully canon, that is just, in my opinion, it should be held in high regards. Because it's a story, again, about never giving up. There's always a way. I hope you guys enjoyed this look into another one of my favorite stories in Dragon Ball. What story should I cover next? Another special, a movie, an arc from the series? Drop your suggestions below. As always, like, subscribe, share, and see you soon.